Hey guys, welcome back to World of Tanks with Hachiman. Bringing you a special today on the new American premium tank, the M4A3 E8 Thunderbolt, the Thunderbolt VII, specifically Tier 6 American medium tank. Now look, it's another American medium tank, and you'd say, oh, it's another clone, it's another EZ8, we already have the Fury, and all Wargaming's doing is coming out with clones, but that's not really the case here with the Thunderbolt. Not going to do a whole lot of historical background, but I do want to tell you a few things, and I had to brush up on these a little bit. The Thunderbolt was Creighton Abrams' tank. Of course, Creighton Abrams, colonel during World War II, became a general, became chief of staff. A man that we thought so highly of that we named what is arguably the best tank in the world after. And I know that's going to cause some controversy. Oh, the Merkava, and oh, the Soviet or the Russian-made T-40, blah blah blah. And look, we're not talking about that. Simple fact is the M1A1 Abrams, which now M1A2 with the retrofits that are available, is still currently the premier fighting vehicle in the world, and the others haven't been tested against it. So, not for that. And you can be pissed at me if you want, I don't care. Okay. So, Creighton Abrams, the reason this is the Thunderbolt VII was the last tank Creighton Abrams drove, the first one being the Thunderbolt. Now, the immediate thought is, well, it must be the Thunderbolt VII because Thunderbolt 1 through 6 must have been knocked out, and the answer to that is no. Creighton Abrams was never knocked out in his history as a tank commander. The reason this is number 7 was because he wore out 1 through 6. He pushed his tanks and his men, his command, as hard as he could. He was part of the General Patton School of Fighting, and he pushed them hard. And he just, despite Sherman's incredible reliability rating, he just pushed it till it gave out and had to replace it. What makes the Thunderbolt 7 different from the EZ8 when it comes to World of Tanks is the armor. After the Battle of Veyr, and especially the Battle of the Bulge, Patton demanded that all of his tanks be retrofitted with additional armor in the field. Now, one thing about the Sherman was highly modifiable, and crews did exactly that. They did all sorts of things. They put wood planking on the outside to protect it from magnetic mines. They bolted extra armor to it. They changed this, they changed that. They added extensions called cleats to the track to make the tracks wider, and so they could traverse rough terrain better. They did all sorts of things to it, but this is what Patton actually required. He wanted extra armor welded or bolted onto the tank, and this is what you've got here. You've got applique armor on the front hull, okay, and you see it comes down at an angle. You see where it ends right there, and you can see the plate, and you can see it from the side. You've got applique armor on the sides here, these panels where it says Thunderbolt 7, and then you've got also right there on the turret, okay, welded to the side of the turret on both sides. What this armor does, now in the front it's just additional armor. It creates front armor of 123 millimeters as opposed to the normal 63. On the side, this acts as spaced armor, so specifically very resistant to heat rounds. And then on the front, on the turret, I should say, on the side of the turret, and you see it from the front as well. You see it here and here. That acts also as spaced armor. Okay, so this additional armor gives you some additional survivability is the best way to put it. Let's do a comparison here. I hit the wrong thing. I'm sorry. Here we go. Now here you've got the Fury and the Thunderbolt. And I would add the EZ8 as well, but I don't have a crew that's set up the way I want it. So, firepower is almost exactly the same. They come with the same gun. Okay, they come with the M1A2 76mm gun. Same gun that is the top gun for the EZ8, same gun that is available on the Jumbo. Now, why is the firepower rating a little bit lower? Well, because of this right here. your rate of fire is a little bit lower. Okay, now understand the way I've got these tanks equipped. I've got rammer, I've got vents, I've got stabilizer, and I have a full Brothers in Arms crew on both of these machines. Okay, so I've got a quarter-second difference in terms of my reload time between shells. Now, the Fury and the regular EZ8 at 2.72 seconds for a 3-inch round, that's incredible. It's almost auto-loader speed, honestly. 2.97, just a little bit slower, just a hair, not enough that you're really going to notice too much. But because of that, the DPM is a little bit lower. Okay, my DPM is 211 lower, and you will not get these reload speeds if you don't have a Brothers in Arms crew. Okay, I do not run cola. I run a fire extinguisher. Sherman's catch on fire, so I run an automatic extinguisher there. If you feel really good about your chances of being caught on fire, you can run cola to get this even lower, but I personally would not do it. Average penetration 128. It's a little anemic. And average damage 115, very anemic when you look at a lot of other 3-inch guns at tier 6 and 7 from in other tanks. When you look at the Cromwell, the Comet, the VK3002M, they just get more damage. But what you have here is volume of fire. You can just sit there and blast away with these guns over and over. The accuracy on the Fury, the way I'm equipped, is 0.37. It's 0.35 on the Thunderbolt. The actual stock values are 0.40 on the Fury and EZ8 and 0.38 on the Thunderbolt. Also, the gun handling and aiming time is a little better on the Thunderbolt. So while you're a little slower to fire, your shots in general are just more accurate. And I'm going to show you gameplay from the Fury as well as gameplay from the Thunderbolt so that you can see the difference. Okay. Survivability. Now here's what's interesting. Survivability is only rated at 84 versus 67, which are garbage values. And you see the front hull armor, but these numbers on the turret and on the side do not take into account that spaced armor that's been welded on, okay? Because they're the same values you see on the Fury, and it will make a difference. So this survivability number you can't really agree with, you can't believe in. 750 hit points. You know, that it's a tier 6 medium tank. Watch out for big guns, 122s on tier 6 Soviet heavies, or even some of the bigger guns you see on tier 7 and 8s when you run into those, because you can lose a third or half your health from one shell if you're not careful. At tier 6, you'll find you've got some definite survivability in your hit points, plus you can see the armor. Mobility, all of that extra armor comes at a cost, and that's mobility. Horsepower on the engine is exactly the same. Tank is a little heavier, so your specific power is a little bit lower. Now, here's what's interesting. The Fury's got a 48 kph top speed. I'm sorry, the EZ8 has a 48 kph top speed. The Fury's 41.8. The Thunderbolt's 42. Oh great, it goes the same speed. No, it doesn't. You'll see that in the gameplay, and I'll point that out, that it is not quite the same speed. It's a getting up to speed issue that you find with the Thunderbolt. Traverse speed also, and I ran into this as well, that at one point in one game when I needed to turn quickly turret and hull at the same time, I found it just wasn't quite as fast as the Fury. But when you combine that 4143 with the 4143 on the turret traverse, you're turning over 80 degrees a second. It's definitely quick enough. It's a really good dogfighting medium in that regard. Concealment is standard medium tank, really. It's pretty much okay, and it's pretty good on spotting. I've got a 400 meter view range right now, signal range 621. Special equipment on the Thunderbolt, you most assuredly want the rammer, the vents, and the vertical stabilizer. Don't bother with the gun laying drive. The gun aims in a stock 2.1 seconds, and with a Brothers in Arms crew, I'm actually aiming in 1.93. Okay, now let's talk about the crew for a second. This is something they should have done with the Fury, and they didn't. The Fury came with a crew, and it came with a crew that had the same names as the characters from the movie. And they were 100%, and that's it. There was just nothing else to say. The Thunderbolt actually comes with, it doesn't come with names of anybody that in Abrams' crew, but it comes with a 5-man crew that is preloaded with Brothers in Arms at 100%, meaning it's a free skill. It's a 0 skill, okay? So 0 cost skill. So if you're needing to pick up another crew to train for higher tier American mediums that you plan to keep, then this is great for you. Kind of sucks for me because I've got every American medium tank in the game and all the crews are on 3+ perks, so I really just didn't need this, but they gave it to me. But it comes with the tank. There's of course multiple packages available. And you can get the cheapest one as cheap as $19. I didn't need the gold and the premium time and the stuff that comes with it because as you can see, I'm not exactly poor. So, but I'm going to start you by showing you a game. I played 2 games back to back. I played 1 game in the Fury, and then I played a game in the Thunderbolt, just like I said, back to back, so that you can see how these 2 tanks perform against each other. And then I'll give you my final opinion of the tank at the end. So here we are in the Fury, okay, and we're in a battle that is, it's tier 6, we've got a half dozen tier 6s on each team, the rest tier 5s, no 4s, so it's a pretty good matchup tier-wise, and looking at the quality of the teams, we're pretty much the same. So I'm going to start off, I'm on Siegfried Line Standard Battle, and I'm going to start off just by heading through the Dragon's Teeth here. Cromwell being a schmuck, taking a shot at whatever. I mean, not Cromwell, Crusader rather. 33 W&8 player. I don't know what to tell you. Alright, so I come up here, and the reason I'm starting right here is it gives me a couple different fields of fire. I can shoot down that road, the road in front of me, or I can shoot into the field. And I go ahead and take this out right there because that piece of concrete's got to go. Crusader's taking fire, can't see from what, definitely a 3-inch caliber gun. He's trying to hide, but where's he going to go? He kind of put himself out there, and here comes a Chaffee. Now, here's the accuracy on this American 3-inch. This is the Fury again. And first shot missed, second shot missed, third shot goes down into his track. Fourth shot hits him, takes his track off, but that lets us kill him off. But Jesus, I mean, but you also see how many shots you get to lay down in such a short amount of time. Missed the Wolverine. There we go. Put 1 into him. It's the best player on their team. Knowing he's under fire, he pulls back. And then there's a T-37 out there. No shot on the Chaffee. I know I can't hit the T-37. He's behind that pillbox. Now the Chaffee pushes him a little bit, so that lets me start to put some fire on him. And still only connect 1 shell. And I'm spotted. I don't want to sit there and take any fire, so I pull out. And then I see this Matilda 4, and I don't know what exactly he's trying to do except probably escape the 30-01H. T-14 down the row, pretty good player. Don't really want to fight a T-14 toe-to-toe. Duck in behind the Cromwell. T-14 misses me. 1 into the Matilda. I hit him a second time before I pulled back, having taken 1 shot. T-14 takes a big hit from artillery. He falls back. I'm going to use that opportunity to pull out. You're a medium tank, remember that. Keep your mobility up. And this is the Fury, so I have very little armor. There's a KV-1. Don't want to fight him. Pound 1 into him that goes high and hits him under the turret. I wait till he's not really looking my way. Put 1 in, and now I'm just going to pound through his side here. Here comes an IKV-103. Man, he's moving. I put 1 into him, and he's gone. I think I'm safe to go after him. I want to make sure he's... okay. Nashorn finishes him off, and now I got the sight of this Arl, who's completely unaware and tracked. 2 shots for the kill. Alright, so let's push to the other side. Fix my track and fix my crew because there are 2 other artilleries on the enemy team. And I just said, you know what, this is probably a bad idea. And oh crap, that's exactly what I didn't want to run into. I fire and miss. Now, that was a good move on my part because I was turned facing this way. And at the last moment I turned this way, so his shot, he was aiming at my rear quarter. The shot hit the back part of my track, and the track ate it. Of course, now I can't move. And there we go. Alright. So this 41 kph top speed on this tank is on the Fury is easily attainable, and I've done many videos of the Fury. See, you max out on top speed, no problem, on level ground. That was silly. There's that Wolverine again. Don't really have a shot on him. Maybe the tip of his turret, and then he pulls back. And then I see... there's that artillery again. Alright. Issue 8 kills the Wolverine. Then I realize there's a medium tank about to kill our artillery, and I decide I'm going to head back their way. And the tank it's not lightning fast. Of course, the Easy 8 is faster. Some people say the Easy 8's got better ground resistance values. I'm sorry, the Fury has better ground resistance values than the regular Easy 8, so as a result, they're the same speed. The ground resistance values are better, but as someone who owns them both, and between the Jumbo, the Fury, and the Easy 8, I've played easily 1,000 games, I can tell you the Easy 8 is faster than the Fury, period. Fury's definitely more mobile than a Jumbo, but... Alright, so the VK's killed one Arty. And our French 10-second Arties, there we go. I didn't even aim that shot, I just took the shot. And the reason you just do that in this tank is because you know you're going to fire again in less than 3 seconds, so just start to blast away. Ah, kill stolen by artillery. That's okay. VK's dead. 1,500 damage. I did earn the high caliber medal, and this was a first class. I had 761 assist damage. I had no spotting damage, or I'm sorry, no damage blocked by armor. And everything that shot me went through, except for that one hit on the track, because that doesn't count. So there's the Fury. Now let's look at the Thunderbolt. Alright, so we're back now in the Thunderbolt, and here I'm in a more conventional Tier 6 game. 3 Tier 6s, a bunch of Tier 5s, and a bunch of Tier 4s. And yes, I played these games absolutely back-to-back, so how I ended up getting top tier both games, do not ask me. I just don't know. So, here we go, and we'll point out the differences as we go. By this point, I already said the tank is sluggish. Yeah, not even 10 seconds in. And it is, because here I am. My Fury would already be up to speed, because I'm going downhill. And, there we go, full speed. Full speed, perfect. A little over. Go through the river, go uphill, immediately drop down into the low 30s. So it's definitely slower. There's no question. But let me just say here for a second, while this is starting to develop, I had, look at this hill, 10. That's like super Pershing speed right there. Let me just say real quick that I had absolutely no doubt as to what this tank was capable of. I'm one of these guys in World of Tanks who's pretty good, but the reason I'm good is not because of my video game skills. It's because of my understanding of all the machines and what they can do and what their weak points are and what they're good at. And by reading the stats on this machine and looking at it, I knew immediately what I could do with it. Plus, I've played so many games in the Fury. So I'm coming at this Leopard. He misses his first shot. I lock on. And there you see I had trouble turning. He bounces a shot off my rear, just poorly aimed. He puts one through, probably through the machine gun port. I'm taking a hit from the serve from behind. I turn to face him. There, bounce a shot. Bounce another shot from the T-28. The serve's pulling back to reload, so I want to eat out this, I want to murder this T-28 real quick. I just want to eat him. And there, tank eaten. Alright, so let's go after the serve. Shot through. He's pulling back. Shot through, look at the gun depression, 10 degrees. He misses, shot through, ram him, he bounces. Because the serve doesn't have very good gun depression, and there is a weak point on this machine, and that's the machine gun port right there on the left side. So I wanted to make sure that he was going to have a hard time getting on that. So I just immediately pushed through him. And back in motion. IKV 103, a little bit of a dangerous tank destroyer there, even for Tier 5. And you can see the reload time, it's just not quite as good, but the accuracy is great, the lane time is great. And I did bounce around from him. That IKV, unless I'm mistaken, fires nothing but heat rounds, and I bounced a shot from him. Now, here's an issue. We got an AMX-12T, Tier 6 light tank. He's a reroll, 1,000 games with a 2295 WN8. This guy's going to know exactly how to play his tank, and he's going to know how to come at me. So I've got to make sure I handle that the right way. And he's coming. So I lock on, fire one shot, bounce, and I immediately back up and turn with him. Bouncing one shot from him. He did pen one round, and I got hit by something else. It might have been him, but it came at a weird angle. But just like that, I murdered him. I'm on 5 kills, 1963 WN8, and I make a point of telling everybody how awesome the tank is. Now, I could go for artillery, but I'm watching my speed going uphill and thinking, yep, he's dead before I'm even getting there. And this Churchill is making a roadblock at the bridge, and I really want to deal with him. Come in on his flank so that there's really nothing he can do. I just can't quite get the shot yet. I got to get over this little hill right here. There he is. I need 3 shots to get him. First one goes through, no problem. That one bounced somehow. I don't know how. He turns his turret at me, and he finishes me off. My next shot that penned him left him with 2. And I think he went right through the top of my turret, honestly, because he didn't fire a premium round. I think he hit my cupola. But that's okay. So we're going to sit here and watch the rest of this. This is one of those games that's frustrating, though, because we're up 12-6. We got double their hit points. This should be an easy win, especially with me taking out 5 of their tanks and doing 2100 damage. And yet, it just doesn't seem to go that way. We're capping. So, what do I think of the Thunderbolt? I think it's going to be a great tank, frankly. It's kind of the Super Pershing of Tier 6, in my opinion. It plays just like a Super Pershing in that you're just not as fast as other medium tanks, especially going uphill, but you got great armor. You'll bounce plenty of low-caliber fire and occasion some high-caliber fire, like 105mm heat rounds. Now, it's a little better than the Super Pershing in that the horsepower to weight ratio is better and it is more mobile. Super Pershing is just sluggish as hell. But if you can constantly keep your front facing the enemy, you're going to bounce a lot of shots. I bounced 1,055 damage in this game in a Tier 6 medium tank. That's a lot. I was hit 15 times in this game. It depends on what your needs are. If you are an average player and you need something that's got some reliable armor, you understand the game but maybe your skills are not that great, you need something with some reliable armor, this could definitely be your machine. Okay, it's fun to play, it's quick enough, it fires a lot, and it's not overpowering in any one characteristic except that frontal hull armor. I think it's a great tank. I think it's worth $19. I don't think it's worth paying $30, $40, $50 for some of these bundles, but I think it's a great tank. That's my opinion. And there's the win finally. This was a first class in my first game. This is my absolute first game in this machine, and it was a high caliber as well. And there's one thing I will tell you, that you will find that a lot of Tier 6 tanks with good guns and Tier 7 tanks will just auto-lock onto you with this tank because they go, it's a Sherman. And then they start bouncing rounds. I think that will change within a week to 10 days when everybody gets used to fighting this machine. And people for the next couple months will keep that in mind, and then I think after that, that information will fade into the back and people will go back to thinking this is just a Sherman. And it's not just a Sherman, it's more like the Jumbo, but it's quicker. Anyway, guys, I think it's a great tank. I hope you liked the video. Please thumbs up, subscribe for more. Love to see your comments below. If you haven't subscribed, I would really appreciate it, and we'll see you around.